Okay, so in this video, we're now going to turn this data model into a real data model and totally independent from the model behavior that handles it. So what I'm going to do here is then say that I want to create a new class of object. So I'm going to make a new public class, and I'm going to call this track, and I'm going to call it track data so that it doesn't so that it isn't the same name as the other one. And so in there, I'm simply going to take those two lines in here. So I'm going to take the properties from there in the track data. And in here, I'm going to reference a public track data, which I'm going to call the track, like this. And whenever I do this, notice that if I go back in the editor now, you can see that everything is just going to disappear. And it's going to disappear because this track data is not serializable by default. So it means that it cannot be saved in the file format of Unity. And so we need to change this. So I'm going to call system serializable. And so this is an attribute that tells that this class is now serializable, and so every property can now be serialized. And I'm now going to go back in the editor, and what we see is that we now have the track. And so the track is here, and so we can change the parameters that we had. And I could have multiple tracks also. For example, I could make a list of tracks. And what I'm now going to add is, as we go through, I also want to be able to decorate this inspector a little bit. So I'm going to use a header like this, which I'm going to call playback. I'm going to call this playback settings, like this. And I'm also going to add a tooltip just to make sure that users of the editor will understand what this is. And so I'll just add number of beats per minute, like this. And I also want to add a range attribute so that we cannot go, for example, at 0 bit per minute. And so I'm going to use a range attribute. And so the range attribute will simply take a minimum. So I'll just say 30, and maximum is going to be 360, which should be difficult enough, I guess. And so that's it. Now, if I get back in the editor, we can see that we now have the playback settings and the tooltips. This is already pretty nice, though it makes it kind of difficult to save because this is all in one scene. So I could basically the information is still referenced in the model behavior, because it's the model behavior that references and creates and serializes a new track data. And so this is not very handy to manipulate in the editor if I wanted to be able to swap tracks very easily, and neither at runtime, because at runtime I definitely want to be able to just keep one player and just swap the disks somehow. So I just want to be able to swap the tracks and just not having to swap the player to swap the track that it references. And so this is what we're going to be touching in the next video. We're going to be looking at how to totally isolate the track model from the model behavior.